An update from the back. Zito just said Quenton Nelson needs surgery.
No. Oh, my God.
Let's stop fucking laughing.
That stinks. That stinks. And you got to keep in mind.
Oh,
hey,
yeah, I'm sure you
You got to keep in mind, these guys, they'll be back eventually.
Oh,
but you'll be fine. You can come back when you start out 0-8. There's no problem with that in Indianapolis.
At Boston Connor, New England Patriots fan, who is very excited about everything he's hearing now coming out of camp, because all there is competition and great plays, not injuries to every star player like what seems to be coming out of Indianapolis. And I assume there's a lot of people in New England that don't necessarily love the Colts, okay? I see a lot of tweets from people in New England that go, I love McAfee. McAfee was a Colt, and I'm still kind of a fan of McAfee. That has to say a lot. So I understand you laughing in our faces. Let's hope Quenton Nelson's fucking okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's hope this surgery goes well, huh? Let's maybe have a little bit of a hot out here, okay? A wicked hot, okay? Breaking Quenton Nelson has the same foot injury as Carson Wentz. He's scheduled to have surgery in Indy later today with the same doctors, went similar 5-12-week timeline. All right.
That's fine, though. Eric Fisher's going to be back like week 3. He'll sure up the O-line for you.
Listen! Ty Schmidt is also here, Packers fan. He's excited. All the worries that he had going into the season are now behind him. Randall Cobb's joined the squad. Right. Aaron's having a good time. He's driving around on a golf cart all around Green Bay. It's good to be you, isn't it?
Hell yeah. Fantastic.
Hey, I'm happy for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good for you too, Carl.
Hey, thanks, man. Good for you.
Yeah, well, it's not, actually, because here I am as somebody who, had heard that Tom Brady potentially wanted to be an Indianapolis Colt last year before he went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Ooh. We're going in a different direction. We don't know if he ever really wanted to be there. This is all hearsay. Who knows? We picked Phil Rivers. Phil Rivers leads the team to the playoffs. Good team.
Good team.
Good culture. They learned how to win. They learned how to get into the playoffs. Now they have to know, okay, we got to take this to the next step. That culture, you find us a quarterback now, because Phil Rivers is on a goddamn sideline of a high school football team in Alabama. You find us a quarterback. This team now is mature enough to go on a run. This team now has been built for the long haul. And the Buffalo Bills were a problem, but getting a chance to experience that taste in their mouth with a lot of contracts coming to the younger guys, we're going to go on a fucking run. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go on a run. Now it seems like we're getting off on the wrong foot. It seems like we're off on the wrong foot. And it seems to be the same foot that we're getting on every single day. What the fuck is going on here? This is not good news. I have faith in the culture that the Colts have. But if you're a Colts fan, listen to Frank Reich speak here in probably like 14, 20 minutes or so. I mean, I cannot wait to hear what he has to say about this, because his job, by the way, is to say, hey, it's not about who's hurt. It's about you guys earning an opportunity that you might not have been able to earn because of these guys potentially being in your way. So this is training camp. We're going to field a team. We're going to do this whole thing. But deep down in his heart of hearts, he's got to know that a couple years ago, supposed to have Andrew Luck as a fucking quarterback.
Oh, excited.
Supposed to have Andrew Luck as a quarterback. Now, very close to the season, we're out for the $30+ million MVP quarterback yet again. It's a wild team to be a fan of, I'm realizing.
Obviously, fans are going to be pissed, and this sucks, and this news changes things a little bit. But, as a player, if you're in training camp, when you were, let's say, towards the end of your career, because obviously the young guys just need to focus on trying to make the team and everything, but when stuff like this happens, are you actively thinking, oh, fuck, you've got to be kidding me?
So my biggest thing is, I'm not worried about how Quenton's going to do this season. Quenton's going to come back. He's going to rehab. He's a professional.
Right.
Yeah. He's going to come back. He's going to play good football. And they won't even talk about this whenever he comes back towards later in the season, because he'll go on to give up no sacks, no penalties, no nothing. And it'll just be like, he just missed a couple games maybe. 5 to 12 weeks is a long time, by the way. Hopefully by the second time the doctor does the same surgery, they'll have a little bit more of a guesstimation on whether it's going to be before the season starts or 7 weeks into the season. I mean, that is two very different timetables, but the doctors, I don't think, enjoy giving projections because they don't know what's going to happen. So I don't know how the players feel about it themselves. Everybody understands, hey, Darius Leonard is going to be good at football when he gets healthy. If he is healthy, if he's back already, I'm not 100% sure, but Darius Leonard is going to be good at football. The thing that I worry about, and it's what training camp is for, and this affects Carson a lot more than anybody because he's new there, is this when your team is coming together. This is when the offensive line, and I might be speaking out of turn, I'm just somebody that used to pop into the offensive line meetings at night because it was always fun to poke my head in there and see how miserable a group of people can be. You know what I mean? In a training camp, offensive line is not a position that is desired. undesirable. I mean, you are banging your head into things. It is 400 degrees. You're normally a pretty bigger person. You're sleeping on a shitty bed probably.
Yep.
You got to go to a public bathroom. And then you're also sitting, and it might be different now if they're in hotels or whatever. Still not ideal. You're not at your house. You're a big body. Then you got to sit in hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of meetings that are literally breaking down every inch your foot moves. Like, see that your heel went an eighth of an inch there. You lost all the leverage. You got fucking bodied by that person. And you're trying to do that. I'd go in there and just try to listen to them and just, like, hey guys, hey, good day. Fuck yeah. Like that type of stuff. Big part of them is learning each other, right? And I'm not saying that Ryan Kelly, who I think is also injured, by the way. Ryan Kelly's,
way.
No.
I think, yeah.
Are you shitting
I'm not sure if he's playing, but his name was on a tweet that was listing off all the bad things that were going on with the Colts. So I think he's potentially got a little something. I'm not sure it's surgery, but they know each other. But like that camaraderie, that timing, like Carson with Ty, like all that stuff is just so important, I think. And with a 17-game season, obviously they'll be able to build that as the time comes. But in last year, there was no OTAs or no training camp, and it seemed to work for a lot of people. But there's some really good moments, I think, that happen in the middle of misery of training camp whenever people kind of come together. And that's what I worry about whenever your superstars aren't there. Like when your superstars aren't there, who's setting the standard? Who's guiding that? There's a lot of leaders on this team. Those are not the only ones, but that's what I'm kind of bummed out about. I'll ask Frank Reich about it, though.
As your friend, I think it's time for you to, put the Colts to bed and, come over to the dark side and root for the Patriots. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for you to be miserable for the next 20 weeks. Just put it to rest, let it go. And if it's not the Patriots, fine. Maybe the Packers. Maybe the Steelers in the back. Anything but the Lions, really, in this room. It's perfect.
All hell is breaking loose over there. What's going on in the foot and ankle department? And do we have enough time, you think, to get everything back on track here?
Yeah, well, I mean, you are the foot expert, so maybe we should have consulted you, right? But no, I mean, you can't make this stuff up, but it's all good, Pat. We'll be fine. You have the fluke injury with Carson from an old high school injury. And then, we report that he has the surgery, and the same day he's getting a surgery, Quenton leaves practice early. We get off the field, talk to the trainers and get the word that this might be the same, essentially, not the exact, but essentially the same injury that Carson had. So we can get all the tests, talk to the doctors, and essentially need the same procedure. So the good news is, we're very optimistic, just like we are with Carson. We're very optimistic about the time frame. It is a big range, as you heard me say. It's 5 to 12 weeks, so that's a big range, but we're optimistic on the front end.
Okay, a couple things there, and I appreciate you being as forthcoming as you are right now. Is it a cleanup process? Is it like a bone is splintered, so they just go and clean it up? Is that what happened for both of them? And are you saying essentially the same because it's two different parts of the foot?
Yeah, so here's what happened in Carson's injury. It was an old injury where he fractured his foot, a bone in his foot. It got loose, but it somehow lodged in there where it wasn't bothering him for a long time. And then over the course of playing 5 years in the NFL, it eventually just the other day popped out. And, you got to go in there and take it out. The good news, Pat, I just said this to the local media, was the procedure was as good as it can be. You have something like that, you want to go in there, get the bone out, and then hope that there's nothing else going on. And in fact, that's the good report that we got. But Carson's was from an old fracture. Quenton's is actually from a developmental anomaly, meaning something he was born with. There was something, that wasn't kind of totally right, and it was fine. And now all of a sudden, step on it the wrong way, bam, same result. A piece of bone that's going to be removed.
Okay, so you're getting a call probably right now from Chris Ballard saying, why are you telling Pat all of this shit? No, but I appreciate you telling us this. And I don't think that bone in his foot is his only developmental anomaly, by the way. Seems like that guy packs more power in this area than any human in the history of existence. You said you're optimistic about earlier in the projections of 5 to 12 weeks. Is it 5 to 12? That's huge. That's like a cable, Wi-Fi. That is a big window. Is that because they don't know how it's going to stick afterwards? They don't know. There's still a lot of question marks on what could possibly happen?
Yeah, there is. I wish I was a little bit more of an expert on this. No, actually, I'm glad I'm not, because it means I haven't had I will be by the time this is over. But when you get in there, there's one thing that they can't tell from the MRIs, that they have to wait till they get in there, and how is something attached to it, and did that was that damage? Is the integrity of that other thing, whatever that is? If that's okay, then you're thinking it's more on the front end of that. But if it's, in the worst case scenarios, if that extra thing is somehow, if the integrity of that is damaged, then you might end up on the backside of that.
Okay, so Carson's back in about 5 weeks. That's before the season starts. Okay. But who knows how many weeks it's going to take there. We'll find out about Quenton later. Is it the developmental anomaly or is there something else happening?